Hey, welcome to this very first Weave development update, Weave 1.0. We're excited that we've launched just recently, since this video is being recorded, and we're going to talk about the technical aspects of the Weave system, how you can use it, what the different buttons mean, what they do, how they work. And I am joined by my good friends, Matt Preston and Chris Matthews, really the core of the Weave development team. Matt oversees the vision of it and helps us think through all the different functions of what Weave is going to do. And Chris is the man on the ground, making sure this thing actually exists. So with a very large team of people behind each of those guys that are working and contributing to Weave. And so they're here on this call. We're going to talk about Weave with you. We'll jump right in. So there's two ways you can use Weave. One is a standalone database that you just log in. You can see the database. You can build some services. You can get some feedback. You can find some songs and some liturgies. You could download some resources. It's a really great way to engage with Weave. But there's a whole nother level to how it works that we're excited about. It fully integrates with Planning Center services. Matt, you want to talk to us about that integration?
Yeah, if you aren't familiar with Planning Center services, they offer free accounts for churches of certain sizes, as well as higher paid levels for those that have larger churches and larger volunteer base. But it's really a place where you can schedule volunteers, you can put out a service order where people can follow along who are in charge of different areas of the service. And probably at the heart of it, it functions really well for band members and musicians alike in getting music to your volunteers, getting music out there for people, and also giving you a lot of analytics in the background of songs you're using and the frequency in which they're doing. And instead of having a whole bunch of folders all throughout the internet and all over your dashboard or all over your desktop on your computer, you can have them all secured in a very one tight spot and all organized within keys and stuff like that. So it's a powerful tool that we're tapping into, really.
So all y'all who know, you know, and all y'all who didn't know, now you know, and you're excited to check out Planning Center services. But when you tie your Weave account to your Planning Center account, a lot of powerful things happen. And so as you talk about Weave today, we'll do a tutorial with both things in mind. But just know that some of the functionality you see here, if you don't have Planning Center, it won't have the same functionality, but it's still a very powerful database. So you see here, Chris, starting with the dashboard. The dashboard is a place that actually looks at the diet of your song selection specifically and understands it over time. It does this by actually, you get permission from Planning Center, where you do your planning for actual song selections week to week, and it tells Weave what you've been choosing. And we've scored all the songs with certain scores, like how much celebration is this compared to lament? Is this a song that's objective or subjective in its orientation? Is this song talking about a future hope or a present help? There's many different categories and polarities we've used. We won't go into that. It's not a philosophy video. It's a tactical video. But the point is now what Weave is doing is it's actually looking at your real song selection, comparing it to our database, and letting you know where your balances are in a variety of fields. So in this particular instance, very high celebration, very high vertical, very high objective. And so the database is going to not tell you have to, or you've done something wrong, but it's going to make a suggestion. Hey, check out some lament content. Hey, check out some more horizontally based content, some subjective content, because there's an important balance to be maintained. It's up to you as a practitioner where that balance should be, but it's giving you some important data. In this case, it's all coming from Planning Center. Chris can show you up above. You can select the duration of how far back it's looking to see your planning. You can do a custom field. You can select like Lent of 2025 and see what's going on there. And if that's high celebration, you should talk to your pastor about how that happened. You know, that's the kind of thing we're looking at here. We're really excited about it. A lot of actionable insights here. I don't think we need to get too far into the technicalities of this dashboard. I think you'll see quickly kind of what's going on. Chris, anything, or Matt, anything you want to add about how this is working?
I'd say one thing to keep in mind, if you do not sync your Planning Center account because you either don't have it or you don't want to, the way this dashboard will begin to function for you is from the moment you start building set lists on your own in here.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to look at anything in the past because you don't have anything in the past, but you will be able from the moment you log in to start building towards your future and start interacting with the dashboard in that way based off the set list that you create for the future.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. In the top right, you'll notice there's also an opportunity to change what service types it's being looked at. So if you use Planning Center user, you have multiple service types. You can actually toggle between them or see them all together. That's an important feature. All right, let's go to this actual song database. The song database has both hymns and contemporary music. We're going to start with the contemporary database. We're going to back up into the hymns. So the contemporary database is very interesting because what we're trying to do here is, again, we want to provide doctrinally approved resources or doctrinally reviewed resources. But at the same time, this is a growing database. So we don't want to limit your planning ability in the short term. And so what we've done is we've allowed the songs you have selected in your Planning Center account to be brought over into Weave. And there's a way in which that's designated. Additionally, there's other ways we've designated songs that are unique using a little icon. Matt, you want to speak to the icons and how they function here within Weave?
Yeah, you'll see two icons, and then one is the absence of an icon. And basically so it's like the three options there. The squiggly line is our icon for the Center for Worship Leadership. It's our logo and everything. And essentially what that's indicating there is that if the CWL logo is there, it means that either the Songwriter Initiative or our publishing house has created that song, and it's in our database now here. And so that's how you'd know that, oh, that's a CWL or a TSI or a Psalm Library song. And then the other one you'll see is the icon of Planning Center, which is the, like, what is that, a hexagon?
It's like
Yeah, the
like
little flag, and then the P in the middle for Planning Center. And essentially that is letting you know that that's a song that's in your library. And then depending on if you have your CCLI numbers accurate inside Planning Center services in the song details, and if we have content on that song as well, it will still indicate that it's from your Planning Center, but it'll show content to that. We're going to take a look at that next, but it'll show the content that we do have for it.
Yeah, it'll match it, so you don't want to appear twice. So like if you love already a song and it's in your PCO, but it's also in our database, it's not going to pull them both in. It's going to just have the one already a song in there. But again, our goal here is that you don't want to limit your planning. We don't want a bunch of songs that you love that we haven't reviewed yet. We want you to have access to them in Weave. What's amazing is this is different for every user. So it's bringing in your Planning Center information. So Matt's PCO Weave integration will be different than yours because looking at your database and your songs. It's really an incredible feature. Now, you'll see to the right of the title, you'll see a few different options about the status of its review. This is important to note. One is recommended. Recommended means it's been through doctrinal review. It's been approved, and the review happens here at the university, Concordia University Irvine, and we love it. So it's like, hey, for many contexts, this song will be great. We can't guarantee for every context, but like, hey, this is one you should really recommend looking at. If a song appears without a PCO symbol and as a blank, that means it's been doctrinally reviewed, but we're not saying we love it. We're not to the point yet to say we love this song. We're just saying this has been through review. It's not doctrinally unsound, but we also aren't saying as an organization that we love it. It's not saying it's bad. Just we're not ready to say gung-ho, love this song. Then you'll find one that says not reviewed. What not reviewed means is basically we're going through the Planning Center songs and scoring them with polarities so that they show up in your diet. Because if we don't give a song a polarity, it won't show up in the dashboard in your diet. And so every song needs to be scored in this way. But we don't have time to take it through the full doctrinal review process yet. And so what we want to do is score it, but not give the impression that we've really reviewed it yet. And so that not reviewed button means, hey, we've scored this song so that it shows up in the dashboard in the right way, but we haven't even scored it. We have no idea. We've not thought about what the song is, but it's one that you've planned when it used. Finally, there's a not recommended that will show up. But the database of not recommended songs is currently in 1.0, not showing up in the database unless it's in your PCO. And so if you pick a song that we're concerned about, you put it in your PCO, and you look in Weave, it'll show up and say not recommended. But we want it to be about considerations and not just a big red X. What's wrong with you? How dare you pick this song? We want to give you an opportunity to think about it. And so when you click on those songs, under the considerations will be some theological points made about the song and why we're concerned about it. And maybe as a practitioner, you still choose to use it in your congregation, but maybe at least you're more aware of the potential pitfalls of its use. And so we're excited about those different categories here. And we're excited about the way the PCO integrates. Again, if you don't have PCO, then you just won't have those additional songs that are coming in from the library. You'll have to wait. The database will be a little bit smaller than those with PCO, but it's growing. It's a growing database. So just give us a few more months. We'll keep populating songs in here and go through the review process. Anything you want to add to that, guys, about the songs?
Yeah, I'd love to dig into one of these so you can see what it looks like when you click on a song. So let's do Psalm 56.
Is it got it all?
Let's see, Psalm 56, Your Promise.
Yeah, so you'll see when you click into a song that we have gone through in our library and reviewed and stuff like that, you're going to see a whole lot of content pop up from the right side. We plan to do another video that kind of explains a lot of this process, but just as a brief overview, you're going to see in the overview tab, you're going to see kind of the nuts and bolts of the song, the CCLI number, the year it was released, the publishers, the writers, how long the song is, tone, themes, and then you'll see lyrics of that song. Most of the songs that we have a line by line scripture reference to them, or almost every line by line. This song, Psalm 56, was based off of Psalm 56. So every line is the line from Psalm 56. But
Here's United in Christ.
Yeah, there's an example you'll see where like scripture readings, scripture references tied to each of those lyrics and stuff like that. After the lyric section, you'll see considerations, and that area is really just, if you're going to plan this worship song, here's some ideas that go along with it, or things to be on the lookout for. As well as below that then becomes scores based on service fit. So not just polarities or tensions of what a song is doing, but also tensions on where a song may fit best within a service.
And it's subjective. It's subjective. It's a starting point. So you might say, why didn't they score it well for offering? I love this song for offering. Please just no, this is a starting point. If it works well in your context for that, we're not saying no. We're just trying to make a suggestion.
Exactly. And then below that being song setups. And really what those are for you is if you are a church that practices, where the worship leader maybe is expected or encouraged to intro songs or talk and stuff like that, a lot of times it becomes hard to think about, well, what should I say or what should I do? And these are just simple suggestions where you can look at them, take them, and make them your own. You can copy them word for word if you want. But there are options within different ideas of when you might do this song on how to intro that song or encourage your people to give it a try for the first time, or just sing along with you for the 75th time as well. And then a lot more nuts and bolts down here, key signature suggestions, both for a high vocal or a low vocal, the range in which the song exists, how many notes in an octave, the meter that it exists in, the tempo that the recording key is. And probably, a lot of people's most wish listed option here is how to download or go straight to specifically this song's content. And you'll see here on the screen by key. So if you download it from Weave specifically, you can choose the key and then start downloading the content for that specific key, as well
And
as you can read. Oh,
this
yeah.
is just if you're downloading it from here. You can hit the download button,
Yeah.
and it's gonna give you a download that you can download right here. But if you have your planning center attached, you can add this song to a plan. And then in that plan, when you push it to Planning Center, see, currently I have nothing in this plan. If you push it, it's going to add that song in there. If you don't have this song in your Planning Center and it is a TSI song or a Center for Worship Leadership resource, it is going to add that to your Planning Center database.
With the keys.
All keys.
With the charts. Now everyone who has been using Planning Center is like starting like, wait, what's that website for Planning Center again? This is amazing. Yeah. And so the push happens from Weave to Planning Center. So you can't bring a set list over from Planning Center to Weave. And those of you that know that Planning Center, that's not really what you want to do anyway, because in Planning Center, you're sending it out invites to your team members. You want it all there in Planning Center. So Weave can push things to Planning Center, but it doesn't draw services out. It just learns about your planning when it talks to Planning Center the other way. So Planning Center tells it what songs you've been planning for the diet side. So that's really cool. And if you look to the right of the push button is the best button in the whole place. It goes straight to your plan that it's sent to. That feature I was super excited about when I saw that come up.
Yeah, that's clutch right there.
And just as a quick recap, if you're not using Planning Center, you're not interested in using Planning Center, down here in that set list is where each week, if you want to add the songs you're using, over time, the dashboard will populate a diet. And that's the where that'll happen in that case. So should we go to the hymns, guys?
Yeah. Do you want to touch the theology or the related at all? Or no, not yet?
I think users can kind of find their way through that. Nothing overly technical in that section. The hymns, there's some things to note technically. We were able to get every English language hymn that's ever appeared in an authorized hymnal for the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, which is the synod that we're attached to at Concordia University Irvine, the Center for Worship Leadership, and the main audience of this tool. That's not anyone can use this tool. We're happy if anyone uses it. That's great, but we have an audience, and that's okay too. And so you'll note that they're all here. And if a hymn has the same words and tune in multiple hymnals, you'll see under the title where that happens. Like you see, "Forgive our sins as we forgive" appears in multiple hymnals, and it shows there, under the title, the multiple artists. This, again, is a growing database. Not all of them are scored, but many of them are scored. And just note, if this hymn is great, I wish I knew what the polarities are. Just be patient. There's 1,700 of them, I think. So, it's going to take some time to fully get this going for you. But we're excited about that. You can add them to your set list the same way you added the modern songs to your set list, or put them in your favorites list the same way you did that for the modern songs. The other thing about hymns that we decided to do is we still wanted to do a recommended type approach. Because all of these hymns appeared in authorized hymnals for the Synod, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, we chose to say they're all doctrinally reviewed, that they all pass doctrinal review because of that fact. However, we decided to honor the LSB Hymn Committee's choices and what hymns they included in the most recent hymnal by marking all the hymns that appear in LSB as recommended. So LSB I think it's 2006 was the release year, Lutheran Service Book. It's the current hymnal in use in the denomination. And so we're just trying to go with that hymnal committee and say, okay, if that hymn appeared in LSB, we're going to start by calling it recommended. That's the start of 1.0. We might toggle that a little bit here. You might meet with some high-level traditional practitioners, and they might say, this LW hymn from 1982-84, the Lutheran Worship was released, is so good, we should mark it as recommended too. We might do that. So just note, at 1.0, that's where we're starting. That might shift over time. We're not locking ourselves into that choice. Yeah, so we're excited to offer these hymns here, and the searchability is so fun. So in the search bar, you can search by theme, keyword, doctrine, all kinds of ways you can search for songs, title. You can even type in LSB, whatever, and it'll pull up the actual LSB, hymn, LSB 220 or something. Although 220 is probably not the hymn section yet in LSB. But yeah, we're excited about that. Anything you want to add to the hymns, guys?
Try the polarity like songs that are like it, like-minded songs and stuff. This is something that features in all songs, but it's one of the cool things. But what it's doing is looking at the song itself, some of the polarity scores, and any other content that we might have. And then it's, case in point here, let's say, thanks to thee, O Christ, victorious, came up as an option for you when you were searching, but you did that last week. You don't like that hymn or whatever. If you hit that little spider graph, which is like a polarity graph icon for us, you'll find other similar songs that are like it in some way, shape, or form. And so it's just a little extra bonus for you. Is like, oh, maybe I'm tired of that song, but I want to convey similar themes or similar attributes while we're with a different song.
Yeah, and I think it's a great time, Matt, to go to glossary, Chris, if you don't mind. In the glossary, we're not going to read all of it right now, but you can just check out what the polarities are, what the philosophy behind our usage of them, and what that's all about. There's also, Chris, we'll talk about the 3 different tabs in this page.
Yeah, so this first tab is the polarities. Again, it's going to explain what the significance of these two tensions are within worship. But we also have a doctrines tab here. Currently, we have about 80 or so doctrines that we've got explanations about. What does it mean? A lot of these are pulled from different articles and videos done, and we source those. And there's a little button here where if you want to learn more about this doctrine, you can click on that. It'll take you to some good information about that doctrine.
And
same
real quick,
thing.
just a butt in. I'm sorry. Real quick, the songs are tagged by doctrine. So if you're looking at a song and it's tagged actual sins, you can click on that tag, and it'll take you to that doctrine page. That's how we want it to function for you. Is if you're a practitioner, you're like, what is that doctrine? What does it mean? You click on that doctrine, you go to the page about doctrines, and you learn about it. So that's kind of the way that we hope that to work for you. Chris is going to do a little example. There you go.
We'll
Church Invisible. So again, the Weave system is not just a chance to find songs, but we hope to do some education through the process. So you can learn more about the doctrines associated with songs and think more deeply about some of those choices as you're able. So that's the glossary section. I think what's left then, guys, is just the Discover page and the Liturgy page for the most part. The Discover page is in Weave 1.0 at this time in the development phase. It's being used for services, and it creates templates. So we put in Divine Service 1, 2, and 3. Also, Walther's Service, which is from the Kelg, the hymnal that Walther put together, the Kirchen Evangelische Lutherische Gesangbuch. And we took that service and we just kind of made it. We realized it's kind of a cool template for a contemporary service. And so we used it to create a potential template. We're asked that all the time, templates for contemporary services. So here's one potential for you to consider. Now, what you can do with this template is in the top right, you can click Add a Set List, and it'll add the entire template to a set list you wanted to add it to. And then you could push, if you're using Planning Center, you can push that whole template into Planning Center. All the details will appear. It's pretty cool. So that's how that works. It's drawing from both the songs and the liturgies in our database. And it's almost like a little mini Planning Center service that you can push over, and it'll appear there in your Planning Center account.
And you'll notice that there are pieces in the liturgy here when we build the service, like opening song. We're not going to pick an opening song for everybody, but there's a placeholder here. If you click on opening song, there's some information about it, but then also there will be a resource to click to help you get started looking for a specific song to go
It's
there.
like vertical integration, self-referential madness. That's sending you back into the Weave system, the song database with certain filters applied. So we didn't even talk about the filters, guys, but you're going to figure that out as a user, that the song and the liturgies tabs all have a lot of different filters to look at the songs through. So just take a look about through all those. You'll be able to, I think, muddle through yourself. It's not too complicated. Just have fun looking through it and see. This is 1.0. There will be different filters in the future that we like, and we'll figure it out as we go, but that's where we're starting with our filters. Liturgies, you'll also note that in here, there's a common button. If it's marked common, it means it's a liturgy that's commonly used in the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. And the reason why we do that is because we do value uniformity. It is a value. And so if at all possible, if it works for you, consider using some of these common liturgies. At the same time, it's not a law that you have to use the same thing every time, or you have to have it in common if there's a good reason not to. And so we have other creative things to consider. Even for those churches that use a very common liturgy, sometimes it's okay to have a special proper of the day, something that's more tied to the themes of the day. And so you can find all kinds of things here: call and responses, confessions and absolutions, confession and absolution. I don't know how you would do that grammatically. It doesn't really matter. You can search by type at the top using filters. So really excited about all this. It's a growing database, guys, remember. So if you're like, I wish there was more of this or that, there will be. That's a corollary to being a doctrinal reviewed resource, is some of these things will just populate over time as they go through the doctrinal review process. Any comments, guys, on either discovery or liturgy pages?
Yeah, the last thing I want to point out about the liturgies is you can also add these to your services. So we've got the season information, the type of liturgy that it is, obviously where it came from if it's in the hymnal, and then the content piece is that actual piece of liturgy. But if I add this to my set list, and then I go to my set list and I want to push it to Planning Center, it's going to check and see if my plan already has some of these things in it, which I believe it should already have United in Christ. So then once it's checked, it'll say 2 items pushed, one's already present. That was United in Christ. Go back to my service. You can see these things in here. And for the liturgies, it puts the content directly into the description. So it's right there in your service for use.
So cool. One last thing I'll say about liturgies from my perspective then is something important here. We got really nerdy, and so we apologize, but also not sorry, you're welcome. Under each liturgy, if it's common between hymnals, you'll see which hymnals is common between. So the Alleluia and verse are common in those hymnals. So if you search preface, for example, Chris, if you don't mind, in the search bar, in the tradition of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, there's many different prefaces. And so you can actually see which ones they are and which ones are in common. Now, we're trying to be very careful of copyright law. So you might wish, I wish the melody were in here. In some cases, that's copyright. And so we can't present that to you. But the text will be in there in those cases. There's some great songs, like This Is the Feast. That's obviously still under copyright if you're familiar with that tradition. So that text we can't even produce for you. So we're being very careful about copyright. If you notice something, let us know. But that's important to us, obviously. And if you know any connections of people who have who hold copyrights, who want to give us permission to add those kind of things onto this database, we're really excited for the opportunity. In the meantime, we offer the information that we can under the kind of the common use. All right, that's really exciting. How about, guys, we end our conversation today on the 1.0 development of Weave with some best practices for those who use Planning Center. Would that be good? Anything else before we move that direction?
No, I think that's great.
So maybe Matt or Chris. Okay, so we're talking about songs duplicating in the service. How do you avoid that? What if I see a song being duplicated that's from PCO, but it's also in the database? What are some issues about how best practices for databases in Planning Center and Weave working well together?
Yeah, first and foremost, the way that Weave communicates with Planning Center in order to check songs is it's checking based on the song title and the artist name and the CCLI number, right? So let's say you have one of our TSI songs in your plans already, but you don't have the CCLI number in there. Then when you sync that song, it's going to add that CCLI number into that song. But you can also get duplicates if, let's say, the song title, All Creatures of Our God and King, right? If you used the song title, All Creatures, and left out the of Our God and King, you're going to end up with a duplicate entry there.
It's time to clean house. All you PCO users have been lazy up to now.
Yeah.
It's time.
I know. Yeah. Like I know at my church currently, we name the hymns. We name it like All Creatures of Our God and King, LSB, whatever number the LSB is. So that would be one of those things where we would have duplicates at that point. Because we got to go
it's going
through
to
and
add
change our names.
It's going to add it with the name, the title, and then the arrangement becomes what the hymnal number is.
At this point, it's probably important also to note that at 1.0, Weave does not take into account the hymn planning side in the dashboard, because currently the system uses CCLI numbers to know your planning information. We're working on for 2.0, finding a way to figure out how to do hymns too. But those of you that say, I wish I had a diet for my hymns over time, you could create the set list here in Weave and get that information that way. But the sync with PCO is one that we're developing for 2.0. Is that right, Chris? Did I say that right, Matt?
Yeah, yep. So the CCLI numbers are great for contemporary songs because it's a unique identifier. There is not necessarily a unique identifier for hymns, so we're kind of brainstorming how to make that work, because obviously some hymns are in more than one hymnal, which means it's not unique to one. Yeah. So we're working through that, and we hope to have that sooner rather than later, definitely within the year.
Guys, this is Weave 1.0, development update. Closing thoughts, anything you want to add?
No, just really excited for launch, and man, I hope that everybody using it, you find immense usefulness in your job and in your vocation as a worship practitioner. And then also, when you see something, say something, because we're all about trying to make this as useful as possible for our people and for our church. So if there's something that seems lacking or that you wish it could do, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at cwl@cui.edu. And I'm excited.
If you find anything that is wrong, also, because Steve, Matt, and I have been inputting a lot of the information in here ourselves, just the three of us. And so, as you can imagine, with probably about 1,800 hymns and about 100 contemporary songs, there's bound to be mistakes. Feel free to let us know, and we'll correct those as we can. And if you're going to go to the BPM conference this week, come visit with us. We would love to talk with you guys. If you're not coming to BPM, then you should come to our Wally conference, because we'll be there talking about Weave as well.
Well, guys, thanks for this time. If you've watched all the way to the end, thanks for joining us for this development update for Weave 1.0. And lastly, guys, when does it sync to your planning center? How often does my account sync, and how does that work?
The most important question: when you sign up and you link your planning center, it is going to go through all of your song database in order to be able to make it searchable. So that is going to take time. So give it at least 15 minutes before it starts populating your dashboard and it starts populating your planning center only songs in the song tab.
Nice.
And then after that, it's pretty much on demand every time you hit Command R or refresh your page. So it's within seconds of refreshing your page, it will kind of just recheck that it's got everything from Planning Center again. So every time you log in,
That's why the first time is the longest, is because it's loading everything in. The next times that it does that, it's already got most of the content, so it's just adding the things that are different.
Thanks for joining us then for this development update for Weave 1.0. The last thing, quite important, is that Weave is a donor-funded platform right now, and we're currently offering free accounts. That may change in the future to a subscription model, but right now it's where we're at. But we really love your support. So if you have any way to give and support this platform with a recurring gift, we would appreciate it. You can find that right there on the landing page, a Support Weave button. And also, we plan to put that also in the top right, your little, what do you call that in computer speak?
Like
Your
icon
icon.
Avatar.
Your avatar. You'll find it there on the top right. And so thanks for joining us here. Thanks for using the platform. Thanks for letting us know how it works for you. And we'll see you, I guess, for the Weave Development Update 1.5, 1.1. I don't know how the numbers work. In the future, we'll share with you whatever updates we make in that time. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you on Weave.